This is the Shaver Prep Football Podcast, episode 15, presented by Aquarius Home Services and brought to you by Truestone Financial and Culver's. And I'll name our Culver's Player of the Week in just a few minutes. Right on time, some snow and colder temperatures, which means it's state football playoff time in Minnesota with one more week of outdoor football. Last Friday, I was in Elk River, where the Elks scored 59 points to beat Andover 59-28 in the Class 5A Section 7 final and earn a trip back to state. How about this? A 99-yard touchdown play, Alexandria's Chase Thompson, the pass to Mason Gorghuber. The Cardinals eliminated number one ranked Moorhead 48-44 on Friday night. The defending 5A state champion, Chanhassen, is going back to state after knocking off Mankato East 21-14. But the story of the night in Class 5A is Monticello. The Magic won Section 6, 19-0 over Spring Lake Park, and earned their first trip to state football in 36 years. Andy Pierskalla is the football coach at Monticello. They are heading to the state football tournament. Wow. What was Friday night like after you won that game over Spring Lake Park?
A lot of happy faces. The outpour from the community has been incredible. This hasn't been done in Monticello in 36 years. And, so there's some joy, there's some relief, but our work's not done, and we're excited to be here. But now our mission has changed from breaking a 36-year curse to see if we can get to the bank.
And 36 years for the last trip, only twice you've been there. The last one the one before that was 1976. So it's been a long drought where Monticello has not made the state football tournament. What does this mean to your program, to your seniors, to have this incredible opportunity?
Well, it's important because this is my fourth year. So the seniors and I have been together for 4 years, and it's an incredible group of leaders and kids, and pair that with some of our great juniors and sophomores. And we've really got some good things going, and we play a tough schedule. And I think that really makes us ready for this time of year.
So you lose the first two games of the year. You lose to Bemidji, you lose to Alex. What do you tell your team when you're sitting there at 0-2 that gets them all the way to 8-2 and in the state football playoffs?
Yeah, we start 6 sophomores. So some of it was growing up in trial by fire. And we just so happened to do that against 2 top 10 teams in 5A. And you learn a lot about yourselves, but credit to those 6 sophomores for stepping up and meeting the leadership of our seniors and our senior leader group of Luke Emmerich and Ethan Wilmert, Eli Pete, Eddie Kennedy. They're just incredible kids, and they keep us going every day. And they expect the best out of everyone, and it's contagious.
So the state high school changes the format for the playoffs. They're now seeded 1-4 in the north and 1-4 in the south. You draw the 4 seed in the north. You play Elk River on Saturday afternoon at Forest Lake at 4:00. I did a little research, Andy. I couldn't find the last time Monticello beat Elk River. I think since 2011, the Elks have won 8 straight against you guys, and it may go longer than that. I'm not sure. Tell me about this matchup. And do you know the last time that Monticello beat Elk River?
I'd have to look into that. I don't off the top of my head. In fact, I haven't played Elk River personally in my coaching career at any of my stops. So this is something that's new to me, but it's not new to either town. So, there's some rivalry blood, if you will. And both teams want nothing more than to hit the other team and to beat them. And that's a healthy rivalry. And what better chance than to play in state? And when you get here, it's special. You're one of the 8 remaining. And, like I said, your goal changes from we're just happy to be here to now we want to do something more than that. And you have to beat them all anyway. So what better than to play them in Forest Lake and give them everything they can handle?
They run the power T. Have you seen that at all this year? And if you haven't, how do you prepare for it?
I don't know that we have. I have a veteran coaching staff that has been around since the last time we've played Elk River, so it won't be new to us. And our youth programs play each other, so it shouldn't be new to our kids either.
Yep.
And so I think that's where we have an advantage of, they've got an incredible team and they've got some great athletes, but the power T isn't something that's brand new to us. We just have to take care of our business.
So as you go into this game on Saturday, are you healthy? Do you have all the pieces in place to make a run?
Yeah, in fact, we are in our last piece. Isaac Holthouse is finally back after a few week absence. So it's great that everybody's going to get the opportunity to play on Saturday.
So what does this do for your program overall to go back to state after 36 years?
It's incredible the parallels between the two teams. Mick Gowdy, who was the coach in 1988, has spoken to our team a couple times, and he talks about the parallels. For example, his star player, John Bauer, his son is a junior for us, plays both ways. And he texted me last night and said the key to going to state in Monticello is you have to have a Bauer on your team, which is great, but it's just a community that's deserving of it. Great fan support, great community support. And the cross country coach, the girls cross country coach emailed me and said the outpouring that she's getting as a lifelong Monticello resident, she says is overwhelming for her. So she's been passing those along, which has been great too.
Well, we wish you nothing but the best of luck. Again, it's Monticello taking on Elk River on Saturday in the state 5A quarterfinals. Andy, thanks for doing this. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
So Monticello is heading to state football in 5A, their first trip since 1988. Kimball area makes state for the first time in football since 1991. Lester Prairie is in. Their last trip was in 1998. Staples Motley is in. First state football berth since 2004. And Fergus Falls makes state football for the first time since 2008. And here's another great story. Holy Family Catholic makes the state tournament in Class 3A for the first time since 2012. Dan O'Brien left 5A powerhouse St. Thomas Academy in 2023 to join up with Minnesota Hall of Fame coaches like Dave Nelson, Jeff Ferguson, and Paul Miller to try to resurrect the Holy Family Catholic program, which had lost 21 straight games. And in less than 2 seasons, they did just that. Dan O'Brien is the head football coach at Holy Family, and what the heck? In less than 2 years, you have pulled off what some would say is the near impossible, from 21 consecutive losses to an appearance in the state football tournament. Is this the greatest part of your football journey in some ways, to have pulled off something like this?
Well, I've been fortunate, Randy. I've had some experiences that have been fantastic at the University of Minnesota and at St. Thomas Academy. We were fortunate enough. We played in the state tournament all 5 years while our staff was there. But this certainly feels a little bit different. When we said yes to taking this over, and I knew that there was going to be an uphill battle. But these things don't happen because of a head coach or because of a coaching staff. These things happen when an administration says, hey, we want to get involved. The community gets involved. We have kids that are willing to make a commitment to some hard things in the off season that we've asked of them. So, I mean, it's much larger than that piece of it. It's a thing, but gosh, certainly a special night for us last Friday night.
All right. So let's just put this in perspective. When you show up there in 2023, a year ago, 17 football players were coming back from that team that had lost 21 consecutive games. For a 3A school to have only 17 coming back. So this wasn't a rebuild. This was like a do-over, because this football program needed numbers. It needed help. So the task was big. But when you bring in a Dave Nelson. You bring in a Jeff Ferguson. You follow that up this year with a Paul Miller. What does that do for the program, for the kids, for you as a head coach? How does that make life easier and make it maybe more enjoyable for the players because they know they're getting the kind of coaching that you just can't get anywhere else?
No, all three of those guys, when you think about it, I haven't ever done the math on it, Randy, but there's got to be close to 400 or 500 wins between those three guys. They're all Minnesota High School Hall of Fame coaches here in the state, and they're fantastic coaches. Obviously, you don't win that many games, but the thing that makes those guys so good, and the thing I think that our parents out here in our community realizes is that although they're very, very good football coaches, they're also incredible people, and the way they treat the kids, the way they interact with kids, to have the success that they have, there has to be something special about them. And I think that's what our community has learned, that, these guys, they're special, and our whole staff, everybody has fit in really well with what we're doing. And those three guys are fantastic, but we've got other guys on the staff that do phenomenal things as well.
So you beat Minneapolis North in the section final, 34-28 last week. You're 8-2. You end up the 4 seed in the South. Congratulations. You get Stewartville in round 1 of the 3A playoffs, the defending champion who's won 25 consecutive games. Scout Stewartville for me, and what kind of matchup problems they provide for your team.
Well, I tell you, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, Randy, even with the extra hour. We first of all, you always want to enjoy your victories, and certainly on Friday night, that was fantastic. We found out at about 10 o'clock yesterday that we were going to end up being the 4, and we were going to see Stewartville, which we knew that was a possibility all along. We were hoping for the 3, but that didn't happen, and that's the way it is. But God, they're good. They've given up 3 touchdowns all year. As you said, they're 25-0 in their last 25. They won the championship last year before. I think they were runner-up in 4A. So obviously very, very good. What I've seen so far on tape, they're physical up front and they're athletic. Defensively, they fly around to the ball, and it's going to be a tall task, But you know what? We're in a state tournament. Anything can happen, Randy, and that's what we're going to sell our kids, Think about some of the things that have happened in college football. Who would have thought Northern Illinois is going to go and beat Notre Dame?
Right.
So crazy things can happen, and we're going to enjoy our process this week, just like we have every single week. We're going to throw our group out there, and we're going to see what happens. Obviously, they're very, very, very good.
Health is always an issue this time of year for any team that makes playoffs and is playing in November. Do you come into this game healthy? And how does that, maybe getting that extra day of practice and rest because you don't play until Saturday, does that help you?
Well, first of all, knock on wood, we've been healthy all season. I think we've had starters miss maybe a total of 3 games. We haven't had a season-ending injury, and that's a testament to what our kids do in the offseason, I think. They work really hard to get prepared and to get stronger. But the extra day will certainly help to prepare for these guys. What I've seen on tape, they run a bunch of different sets and formations that we'll have to get prepared for. But this time of year, everybody's a little bit banged up. Your running backs that have been getting 15 or 20 or 25 carries a game. Your inside linebackers are especially, those guys are having – collisions on every single play, and your interior linemen. But everybody's a little bit banged up this time of year. Fortunately, we're as healthy as probably any team I've had at this time of year.
Well, OB, unbelievable. Congratulations. In 2 seasons, 15-6. This program has not been to the state tournament since 2012. It's a big deal for your school. I'm sure it's a big deal for the program, and it's a big deal for you. Congratulations to you.
I appreciate it, Randy, and thank you for all you do for high school football.
Good luck on Saturday.
Thanks, buddy.
To be honest, I'm a trust guy. If I'm going to let you into my home to repair or upgrade something, I'm going to trust you do it right and provide great customer service for peace of mind. Well, Aquarius Home Services was all that and more. They installed a new Connecticut water system in my home, great drinking water from my faucet, by the way, and an air purification system, so no more dust in my home. It's been a game changer. Quality, service, trustworthy people. Aquarius Home Services, earning the right to be recommended. Number one ranked Maple Grove in Class 6A won a huge game on Friday night, knocking off Eden Prairie 34-0. In Class 4A, living legend Dwight Lundeen, sporting the Tackle Cancer stocking cap, led Becker to state with a 28-7 win over Princeton. Becker is undefeated and rated number one. And in 9-player, the number one ranked team and the defending state champion, Nevis, was knocked off by Cromwell-Wright 20-14 in the Section 5 final. These pictures provided by Voyager Press, the local newspaper covering Cromwell-Wright sports for 3 decades. And guess what? That coverage will continue this week. Well, Jeff Gronner is the head football coach at Cromwell-Wright. They are headed to state for the first time since 2018. Thanks for doing this. You upset Nevis on Thursday night, the undefeated and defending state champion. And I'm really curious, Jeff, because late September, you lose to them 48-8. What changed between late September and Thursday night last week?
That's a good question, actually, Randy. Though in late September, our starting quarterback had gotten hurt a week before. He injured his throwing thumb. So I had him at running back a little bit. I had him at wide receiver a little bit, but I started my freshman son in that game, and that was his first ever big game. And our offense did not do well, and our defense did not play well. And a lot of things went wrong in that game. And then late in the game, second teams were in, and they scored 2 on our second team too. So the score looks 48-8, but it was more like 32-8. But still, overall, that first game, they kicked their butt.
So Brendan stays at quarterback, right? So now he's your QB.
Well, actually, ironically, our quarterback got healthy again, and this is the amazing thing. He started the game. Dylan
Thursday
Nyberg started the game against Nevis, but he re-aggravated a knee injury that he got on Saturday. So he scored our first touchdown, 60-yarder. And then the next time he touched the ball, he re-injured his knee again. So my son came back in again. And this time he engineered a victory for us. So that was pretty cool.
All 5'9", 135 pounds of him.
Yes. Yeah. Well, in all honesty, most of it was just handing off to our backs in the backfield, but he did have a big touchdown pass late in the game on 4th down. That was huge. So
you're the number 3 seed in the North. You play the number 2 seed Fertile Beltrami on Thursday night at Moorhead High School. Yes. What do you know about them? I looked at their schedule. They went 10-0 so far. They are averaging 54 points a game. They've got their games haven't even been close this year.
No. Yeah. Ironically, I know quite a bit about them. My oldest daughter taught up there for 2 years, and in 2021 and 22. So I was following them a little bit because of her being up there. And what I know is they're high-powered, they are a high-powered offense. They've got 2 really good backs, and their line is big and physical, and it'll be a huge test for us. I believe that they lost only 2 guys from a state semifinal team last year. So they're obviously the favorite, I believe, and I hope, I believe if our guys do what they did on Thursday against the Tigers, that will be fine. So,
Well, Cromwell is no stranger to the state tournament. This is the 4th time that Cromwell-Wright will go, but Cromwell itself has a very rich history of football. But what does it mean to go back to state for you guys?
Oh, it's very exciting, especially for these guys, because this is our first time back at state since 2018. I've been there a lot, and it's fun. But these kids, all these seniors on this team were in 6th grade the last time that we were in state, and I remember being at the game. But it's been so long, and usually we go a lot, and we have gone a lot for a long time, that you kind of take it for granted. So when you haven't been there in 6 years, as our coaching staff hasn't, this one meant a lot, and it was fun. I'm so happy for our guys to finally get, especially our seniors, to get to experience a state tournament atmosphere now. So,
well, I wish you nothing but good luck. You play on Thursday night at Moorhead High against Fertile Beltrami. What a great year for Cromwell so far, 11-1 on the season. Jeff, thank you, and good luck to you this week.
All right. Thank you very much, Randy.
A friend heard me talking about True Stone Financial on this podcast the other day, and she says she sees True Stone sponsoring prep sports and academics and the arts. I do too. And I know the people at True Stone, and they are trying to make an impact in the community, and it's important to them. As a neighborhood credit union, they generously support our schools, our students, and our families. True Stone members and employees are part of those communities, so giving back is in their nature. True Stone has a vision to deliver exceptional financial experiences, but they're also more than that. They're part of our neighborhood, and they're committed to making our communities better places to live. Learn more about True Stone's community impact. Follow them on social media or visit truestone.org. Our Talk North Walk the Talk winners from week 2 of the playoffs are Sam Shaughnessy, quarterback of Blaine, 12 for 18, 232 yards, 5 touchdown passes, and a touchdown run in a 53-21 win over Forest Lake. And Markel Keaton, running back Totino Grace, 10 carries, 190 yards, and 6 touchdowns in a 47-6 win over St. Anthony. Congratulations. Wellanoka earned their first trip back to the state football tournament since 2011 with a monster win over Lakeville South, 35-34. Former Tornado Cody Lindenberg is happy about that and thrilled that his current team, the Gophers, are now bowl eligible at 6-3 with a big win, 25-17 at Illinois on Saturday. Well, Gopher senior linebacker Cody Lindenberg is wrapping up his Gopher career this season, and it's been quite the run. It's been quite the football journey, starting at Anoka High School and ending up with the Gophers. Thanks for doing this. As you look back, would you say that the Rose Bowl appearance, the Rose Bowl win, maybe stands out in your time at Minnesota just because it was such a special moment this fall?
Yeah, absolutely. There's been so many memorable wins, and just being in that environment, being in the history of it all, to be a part of it, not only as a Golden Gopher win, but to have my family there, to be a part of all the, I know there's been Super Bowl venues. I think there's even like a a World Cup thing. There's been concerts. There's been so many unbelievable events there. So to be a part of all of that and to see it all, take place the way it did this last weekend was unbelievable. So I just wish I was able to maybe take it in a little bit more. It's hard during, obviously, with
Right.
there's so much going on, the heat of the moment, but a lot of that happens for me before and after the game. So I was able to, take in the venue to, maybe get a picture or two or something before the game. But yeah, that's certainly up there with some of the Gopher wins we've had.
What do you think is the one thing that you've learned the most about yourself during this football journey at the University of Minnesota?
Yeah, I think the one thing that stands out for me the most is just the aspect of not being able to do anything by yourself. Like there's not one point in time that I could say that I got through something because of my own will, because of my own confidence. Because when I was a young kid, my freshman, even sophomore year, like I certainly was not confident in myself, whether that was because of the way I performed, whether that was the way I prepared. It was certainly everybody around me. It was my faith, trusting that, there's a plan better for me than what I have for myself. It's the coaches talking to me and saying that they still believe in me no matter what. And that helped me tremendously. My parents, my family, my girlfriend, I could go on and on with the people that have helped me throughout my career. It's all the coaches I've had. Um, but it's being able to understand that it's much bigger than yourself. It's bigger than just your performance on the field. Like at the end of the day, this is a transformational program. Like it's not about just the way you perform on the field. Like I don't get treated the way I get treated because I make a certain amount of tackles on the game or we won two in a row or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
It's just the way that I've been able to understand and to learn, like it's bigger than myself. I haven't got here by myself, certainly, through all my time growing up, whether it was my dad coaching me, my mom and dad and family being at all my games. So I've certainly had an upbringing to help me understand those sort of things, but I think it really hit home when I got into like a lack of confidence my freshman and sophomore year of like, all right, I'm not performing super well, or at least in the way that I would have hoped. And then seeing the way that people, came into my corner and backed me to understand that, hey, man, like just because you may not be playing the way that you think you should be playing, we still love and care for you. And we know you're going to get better. And this is how we're going to help you get better. So there was a plan set in place for the blueprint, and the dream that I had. And so I think that is certainly something that I've taken away from my time here. And I could go on and on with the things that I've learned, but that's honestly the thing that came in my mind first.
I think that is a great selling point for high school football players in Minnesota who obviously, honestly, before PJ showed up, were not staying home. They were going other places to play. Now we find that that trend has changed. More than not, players are staying home to play for the Gophers. And I think what you just explained is probably one of the reasons why, because there's a culture, an atmosphere there, and we hear all the buzzwords. I'm not going to go through all that, but it's actually more than that, isn't it? And
Ab-
I think that's what part of the buy-in is for the Minnesota high school football players, is that part of what you just said.
Yeah, and especially in the time and age of football that, we see ourselves in, whether it's the NIL, it's the money involved, it's monetary, it's materialistic, it's how many likes can I get on this social
Right.
media post? And it's just the time that we're in. Like it is, I don't think there's any one thing or person to blame for what's happening. And I think there's a lot of good that's coming out of it as well. But it's being able to understand what my true goals, aspirations are for my life. And I think that Coach Fleck and the staff and the culture that has been implemented into our program sets you up for so much more success than just football in your life. It's academics, socially, spiritually, academically, athletically. So, I mean, there's so many things that we're being taught into our program that I'm not just a football player. Like I'm not just based on my performance on the field. Like I go to class, I'm expected to go to tutoring, get good grades, sit in the front row with a collared shirt. And we talk about compartmentalizing our lives. So
Yep.
when I'm at football, my time is being spent thinking and doing football. When we're at class, we're expected to, be locked in, to be tuned into what our teachers and professors are saying, to make sure that that can, one, benefit my academics, but two, set me up for success to be able to play better on the field because I don't have to worry about school. I'm not worrying about, this test or exam because I know I'm confident what I have to do in the class. But again, it's being a better dad, in our lives, in our future, being a better husband, how to be a better son, a better brother. And it's all these things that we're being taught that I think means so much more than maybe a few extra wins would go every single year. Maybe in the moment, those wins feel really good, but what do you really want for your life in the long end is what we talk about. Like, don't sacrifice for what you want. Don't sacrifice what you want in the long end for what you want, like in this moment, in this present monetary, you know, kind of satisfactory world that we're in right now, where everybody
Right.
wants it right now.
Right.
Everybody wants their satisfaction immediately, and they're not willing to sacrifice their time, their money, whatever it might be for, future success down the road.
So, for those that don't know, Cody played high school football at Anoka High School. You were a linebacker and a tight end, and you were actually not your team's leading tackler your senior year. You were the team's leading receiver your senior year. 30 catches, 500 yards, 4 touchdowns. Did you miss your calling? Were you really supposed to be a tight end?
I don't know, honestly. Yeah, I think I played everything but linebacker, honestly. I think I played quarterback, played running back, wide receiver. But I mean, that was the part that, I enjoyed the most. I was able to play whatever my team needed me to play at that time. And I was, more than willing and happy to do it. And I think that kind of goes back into like I played multiple sports growing up. Like I didn't just play like one sport. And I think that is what kind of helped me understand that like playing more than one position, playing more than one sport is just another way for you to get on the field easier. Like especially like once you get into college, you get into the, National Football League, like you're going to get on the field any way that you have a chance to. So I'm not going to sit here and say that in high school, like I'm only going to play this position. And if not, like I'm going to, whatever, I'm going to complain about it and do all these things. If I need to play a certain position, I'm going to go do it. And I'm going to do it, the best that I can. So I happen to be recruited as linebacker, and I'm certainly happy with the way that um, I love playing linebacker. I wouldn't want to play any other position. Maybe in another time when I was called to be a tight end, I would have loved that too, maybe. But in this time, I wouldn't trade being a linebacker for the world.
What was the football experience like at Anoka, especially when you get into playoff time? Because that's where we are right now in Minnesota high school football. What do you remember the most from playing your playing days at Anoka?
The things that stood out for me the most when I played was just the camaraderie and the relationships I have with those teammates. I still talk to just about, I don't know, I could name off 50 guys that I played with that I still talk to this day. Not every single day, but there will be some days where, I'll think about the guys and I'll text them or I'll give them a call when I got some downtime. So we certainly didn't win the most games when I was there. So it's not that, I remember winning 10 games each season,
Right.
whatever it might have been. But that wasn't what was the most important thing to me. Like, would it have been nice to have won a ton of games? Certainly. Like, obviously, nobody wants to lose. There's nothing in me that wants to lose anything that I do. So it's not that we enjoyed losing. I just thought that it made it so much better to go into each week knowing that, the guys around me are going to put in all the effort that they have, but to also like enjoy each other's time while we're with each other because it went by so fast. Like those 4 years that I had, like I remember being a freshman and then the next instant I blinked and I'm playing my final game on, I think we played like Eden Prairie or something my senior year. And that was my final game. So, I mean, especially during the playoff time, I think it's great that, because I honestly didn't know that every like I know other states like don't get a shot in the playoffs,
That's right.
everybody. So I think it's great to at least like say that whatever you did prior, it's almost like a reset. Like,
Yep.
yes, you may be playing a higher seed, but at the end of the day, you still have the same shot to win as anybody else if you just do what you do better than what they do.
What does life after football look like for Cody Lindenberg?
Life after football. I mean, that is
Have
one
you
of the
even
things
thought of
that
it? Have you even thought about it?
I think through like my school and my academics, I just graduated 2 semesters ago now with my kinesiology degree, which sets me up for athletic training, possibly going to PT school if that's something that um, I find within myself to do. And but yeah, it's something that I would like to play football for as long as possible. Whenever that time for me to stop playing football ends, then the time will come. But yeah, I mean, I would certainly love to, I think, stay in Minnesota. My girlfriend really likes the warm weather, so like the Florida and stuff, but we'll see what that looks like. I love being around my family. All my family's in Minnesota, so it'd be really hard for me to leave them. So I think that I would certainly love to stay within the state. I want to be around sports as much as possible, whatever that looks like. So like the athletic training realm, the PT realm is something that I really would like to be in. Maybe even coaching if that is something that comes into fruition. But yeah, I'm honestly just taking it one step at a time, keeping it, these moments don't last forever. And I think that's what is really starting to hit me as I get older, especially in my career, is that you know, time flies by. So I mean, if you're not where your feet are, you're gonna miss a lot of the opportunities and like the moments that you make every single day. Um, because I don't know, there's just something about it, like all the time that I get to have with my teammates, like it just I feel like we've had so many good memories, so many good moments, and we're making them every single day. It's hard to want to like think about what's ahead in the future because I
Right.
just want to continue to have fun and the joy with these guys I'm around every day. So, but
The
there
future,
is certainly some things.
the future can wait, right? The
Yeah,
future can wait.
yeah.
It's being in the moment right now, and that's what you're
Mhm.
doing. That's awesome. Good for you. Hey, thanks for doing this. I appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me.
We all have go-tos, right? Well, mine is Culver's, and all you have to do is look at my social media for proof. I eat at Culver's almost every day, and I love matching my order number to a star athlete. But more than anything else, I love the food. It's fresh, it's delicious, and it's comfort. I feel good after stopping at Culver's. The people are friendly, the food is made to order, and it just makes me happy, truly. So, if you're looking for your go-to, I have a recommendation. Culver's. And our Culver's player of the week is number 21, Chase Bjorgard of Edina. The running back rushed for 210 yards and scored 3 touchdowns in a 42-21 win over Egan to send Edina back to the state football tournament this week. And Culver's is looking for your player of the week for next week. Email your prep player of the week, name, jersey number, and high school to culversplayer@talknorth.com. The winner chosen gets either a free Butterburger or concrete mixer from Culver's. One last note from last week. Hermantown was trailing North Branch 28-7 in the third quarter and rallied to win, scoring 28 unanswered points. Final in that game, 35-28. So the stage is set for the state quarterfinals this week, and there are a few outstanding matchups. On Thursday, Maple Grove versus Edina at Park Center. And in 4A, Totino Grace takes on Hill Murray at Blaine. That's an early start at 5:30. On Friday this week, a battle of unbeatens. Jackson County Central versus Norwood Young America at Orono High School. Plus in 6A, Moundsview battles Shakopee at Spring Lake Park. And on Saturday, Alexandria takes on undefeated Armstrong in an early start at Monticello. Plus Fairmont versus Dassel Cokato in Class 3A. That game being played at Minneapolis Washburn, and it's a 3 o'clock start. Next week on the show, the game director for the Minnesota High School All-Star Football Game, Dave Fritzie, will join me in studio as we reveal exclusively the 88-player roster for this year's game to be played at US Bank Stadium. And we talk state football semifinals. Should be a blast. For producer Alex Haugen and the great folks here at Talk North, thanks for watching and listening, and we will see you next week.